Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another Let's Play Disco Elysium. I'm Samuel.
And I am so excited to be back now. I know we shouldn't break all the suspense and everything, but we haven't touched this game in forever, it feels like.
Yeah, I know. We play it once a month and like 4 go-throughs, so it has those moments. I always have to crack this thing open and see what our goals are and stuff at the moment. The shot couldn't have come from here. Trees block the way. So there we go. Now we've taken care of one of the spots. Someone has broken down the fence and the barbed wire. Given it's right by the crash, I suspect I know who it is, but...
Hey, there's no proof of that. We can't go into all the speculation and everything now.
The swing is missing. No one's been here for a while.
Rust peels off the bent iron posts of the swing. The wind whistles through the skeleton of the small house behind you. There's desolation everywhere.
What happened here?
In this yard?
Lieutenant looks at the small building. A flock of gray swallows takes off in the distance.
He's assessing the situation. How long ago was it abandoned?
Someone thought they could have a summer house in a bloc obscure for cheap. It didn't work out. They abandoned it about a decade ago.
So this part of the coast is a block obscure.
Practically, it's not an official term in any way, but look around. No sewage, broken power lines, crime, drums. Life is tough in the blocks. It's no place to build a summer house.
Maybe they left something useful behind.
Yes, for you to scavenge like a post-apocalyptic scavenger who collects trash and errant magnesium blisters.
He gives you a weary smile.
It's not meant as nagging, just an observation.
We should move. I don't think we will solve the murder with forays into the urban hinterland, at least in this phase of the investigation.
Glory, says the graffito, to the ghost of us. Someone has left their music connection beneath the tarpon. The pathing is not bad, by the way, whenever you click on a place and it takes you to somewhere. Just an observation. Because some of these games are horrid at that sort of maneuver.
I completely agree.
You talk to them. What was I gonna say?
You stop mid-step and put your hand on the garish necktie.
That bottle, Bratan! Just look at that bottle!
I really don't care about any bottle. I don't want to look at it.
You should care! I'm getting a very special vibe from that bottle. Please go talk to him. I need to look at it closer.
This freaking necktie, I swear.
God bless the necktie. The voice actor just went all out with
Oh,
it.
he did, yes. I bless the voice actor. Ugh. Stuff like that, if you do not watch yourself, can be murder on your throat. It's... I think this is the direction we were supposed to be going in theory. A little beck swallow circles above you. You hear it chirp. Rust-eaten letters read Mazut. The rear tire of a motor carriage adorns these reeds. That's a Nolad Vinclec, an unsuccessful model.
I was hoping it was going to be like the spinner ones, the ones that he gave us that first night.
Quick travel unlocked. The church. This is one of the places we were supposed to check, right?
Don't make me tell you no lies.
A dead phone, a smashed receiver, like someone hung up too hard. This might also be because there was supposed to be. Someone must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
Don't have anyone to call right now, so. Plus, we have quick travel. I've got a freeway to call people. The buzz, hum. The electricity throws the wires with audible power. Yeah, someone told us someone was at the church, so we are at the church now. So, I have a bad feeling about it, but we're at the church.
Oh.
A makeshift roof. Vagrants have tried to make the boardwalk habitable. That tarp will keep out neither rain, nor snow, nor wind. A coin-operated weighing machine has been used for a decade. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. Mega Beano's prescription lenses. +2 encyclopedia, but -1 perception.
I mean, we're just going to look fabulous.
We've got enough encyclopedia to where I don't think we might necessarily take a ding on the perception, but it could be useful to sell. A big wine canister. It's open and empty. Moonshine, probably. Smells like tasty fermentation.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that.
Oh, no.
It is death. It must be.
Heads up, Lieutenant. Something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose.
Careful there. These floorboards look rotten and weak.
No.
A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad puppet. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on.
The lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. 2 bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Agreed.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself. Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe.
Studying the man's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. The leather jacket suits him well. It must be custom made.
Search his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
Studying the man himself.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark.
Examine his face.
His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years.
I'm really hoping this isn't who I might think it is.
He was just about to head home. The first step back home proved to be his last. That's what the chewing gum seems to point to as well.
Study the surroundings.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Examine the man's head.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is where he came out of himself, drop by drop, when he was unconscious. It took 3, maybe 4 minutes.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
No, just this one on the back of his head.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
Step on the floorboards.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him.
Examine the bottle.
A .75-liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Tear all around us.
He looks at the other 2 bottles forgotten near the coin-operated viewer. Examine the chewing gum wrapper.
Rubowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Look in.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire
this is
boardwalk
heartbreaking.
creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who is this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
He looks south the way you came.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
This is an omen.
Oh no.
A sign from above. Don't start drinking again.
Are we thinking that this is the little kid's father?
Oh, that's a possibility. I was also thinking about the person we were supposed to find that's been trapped over here for a couple of days.
Oh.
I mean, one isn't wrong.
Number 2 just feels cold as heck. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that's not how we've been doing this.
Okay. Are we thinking of 1 then, or are we jumping to 3?
We could do 1. He looks like me. I could have ended up just like him, dead on some empty boardwalk with a bottle next to my corpse.
Well, at least you're not married.
The lieutenant points to the ring on the man's left hand, the flesh around it swollen and gray.
Or, what if you are?
But let's try to not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk.
What do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
No. I'm kind of curious on number 3. Are we going through these, or is this a one-time thing that we
I
get
don't know, but we'll see. What about the kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is
It's
just
just a kebab. Someone should be... episode title, by the way. Write that down. Someone should be held responsible for this broken boardwalk. It's dangerous.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
He smiles sourly. Right.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
Hold on, what about field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work.
Yes, but isn't that kind of sloppy?
Maybe, but
Yeah.
we don't really have much time or resources to spare. The guys at processing will take care of the rest.
Okay, is this gonna make him hate us? I don't know if it will, but let's do it.
We
Let's
found
do
him.
it.
We should finish this.
Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
Coin
Wait a
operator
minute. hang
viewer
on.
has been out of order for years. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind is so strong.
Yeah, because if this is the kind of game where you can like die in your hotel room before continuing on, maybe we really should get off the board. I don't really want to get a bad roll and suddenly the game is over at this point.
Right.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Gemrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member.
Look inside.
Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too.
Look on the backside.
If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours, 900 to 1800.
Good.
How convenient we
should give
just
them
found a
call from
payphone.
my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
I really hope it's not the little kid's dad there, and it certainly can't be the widow's husband. He died like years before, right?
I think. Yes, because he died actually in the sea. That was the whole point of that. Died doing his profession. Well, there's some people up there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a chat. Necessity-driven architectural design at its finest.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
Wait, did he just know Kim?
I know, I caught that too. Hold on, hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
Wait, what was that about the windows before?
Oh, yes. So, Mikhail, they had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
That's actually a smart way of dealing with that. Why don't we actually do that?
Impressive.
Someone probably does, and I'm just not aware of it, but... You and Kim know each other?
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden from behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
Deep breaths, Shay. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. I can't believe I'm about to make a joke with this adult. I can hear your erection from here. So we're just gonna calm down. Shay does programming stuff for anyone that doesn't know, so this is his area.
I absolutely love that they referenced it inside of the game too, but what's I'm a little bit worried about the radio computer and everything. Isn't this part of what was on the back of the library card? I'm curious if these people might have actually known the deceased guy.
It's possible.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
Well, I suppose I deserved that.
But I assume you're not here to sign worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
What's so fascinating about an empty building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes to shield himself from the freezing snow. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Look at the building looming over you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
Wait, what's an R&D department?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore.
He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes.
You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Russell T. Davis? Hello, Who fans.
Mayor Kalpa, you are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
I like him. I don't think I've ever heard of this Field Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was that ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer?
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
What happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his own sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk? Look under your feet.
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel, lighting up the coast.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
What happened to the engineers, the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
I'm not doing that. That's his job to teach the kid.
Yeah.
Tape computers, right.
Tape computers.
What did the revolutionaries do with those advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases. The most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
What was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombecer dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree.
Oh, well, conveniently we're looking for a library.
I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Juice joined the team, trying to...
Wait, did he just say... God
bless reaction speed.
Yep, this is our brain. we fit in here.
He did it. He said, Wompty Dumpty Dom Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wompty Dumpty Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Okay, the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center, Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juiced. What are you talking about?
The Wompty Dumpty Dom Center for Contemporary Art. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ackerman, chose to...
Okay, which way do we go?
I've got to go. I don't want to call him like you're making this up. I don't think that we want to be that aggressive. Definitely two.
Come on, there's no place called the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center of the Arts.
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dom Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
He clears his throat.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Wow.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
The RCM should get some of those.
Even one would be very useful. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to the precious device. So they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into the fires of '07.
Wait, the failed playback experiment?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback experience, but those are incorrect.
Why did revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All three versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
You take a step back, the boardwalk creeps mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask something else.
But of course, what else?
You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money?
I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all.
He's not gonna give you money. What are you doing? Clearly you were just profiling. No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
I don't want your money. I just wanted to see whether my profiling skills were working.
Of course, Detective. I wouldn't have assumed anything else. Matter of fact,
He looks up again, a playful hint shining in his eyes.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the Vespertine Department of Justice has published a rather interesting paper on the criminal profiling in former socialist states. Have you read it? If not, then you definitely should. If not for tips and tricks, then just for theoretical curiosity. Anyway, that's just a little something that sprang to mind. You were saying?
Great. Thank you for all the interesting information.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Knowing about profiling. Yeah, I kind of feel like we just gave up particular. I don't know. I'm just imagining like a Sherlock-esque character that's just waltzed in here, standing on the boardwalk all of a sudden, and it's kind of making me a little bit uncomfortable.
The fence blocks the path. No way on from here.
You see, a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
The lieutenant raises the collar of his bomber jacket.
What specifically did he say that he knew about Kim?
Just
Trying
that
to
he had
recall.
heard of him. Bars cover these long, dusty windows. Yeah, like he had heard of him via reputation or something. So we might be we might have made enough of a noise around here to where we're being noticed.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
Try to see inside.
Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside?
No. I won't even try. You know,
He takes his glasses off.
I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Can you still shoot, though?
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I passed my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's something to remember.
Good to know.
I love these little things that they just give us like that, right?
Wait, is there any way that we could climb up to the roof, or is that going to be way too dangerous for us to try?
I suspect
'Cause I'm
there
seeing
might
a
be
ladder.
some way to get where?
Beside the mural, there's like a ladder that runs along the edge, but I don't know if it's something that we can click on there.
Where?
Over on the left side of the, or yeah, go past the.
Oh,
Is that a ladder there?
that is a ladder, but it looks like we're not allowed to interact with it. So,
Yeah, I gotcha.
it was worth a shot, though.
I love heights.
I don't.
Oh, another person.
Yep. Tiny cages, carefully construct. Ooh, I bet I know who you are.
Here we go.
There we are. We
Nice
found
and easy.
Morel.
No
Yay.
way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
His self-conscious enthusiasm renders his movements ungainly. He looks like your understanding of a scientist.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Hey, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
I mean, we're not, right? We're just gonna give him the important part. I'm an honest
Absolutely, we are.
person, but there is a level of honesty that is ridiculous at some point.
I completely agree. We don't want to hang ourselves just yet.
Yep. The water lock's been fixed. It was fine when I crossed it.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
How did we get back across, by the way? I don't understand it. Anyway,
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary.
Now that
We
you
can go
mention it,
soon.
how did-
If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
okay, what? Now that I mentioned it, I've distracted you, haven't I?
Yeah, because clearly, if we were driving the car that night, then how would we? Because the
Sir,
gate was open
Your
at that
wife
point.
is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of the netting that has come loose in the wind. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it.
What makes it so difficult to find?
Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost
Ghost
it
insect!
disguises itself
Oh,
as
wow.
plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators or scientists in our present case.
No, hang on, no, because this is veering off into territories that I don't really feel comfortable with. If you can have a ghost insect, does this presuppose that there exist ghost spiders?
Oh no.
You describe predators? I don't know. What would a ghost insect have to fear?
What sorts of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself?
It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex.
If a friend of us watches this, by the way, he will get a nosebleed instantly. You know that, right?
But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid. A ghost insect, he said? These people are looking for a ghost.
Ghost insect. So you're ghost hunters?
No, that is precisely what we're not. We are zoological specialists, looking for an extant species of phasmid.
How big is this phasmid?
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodeozoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So,
He leaves the conclusion up to you.
Seems puny, to be honest.
Why are you so interested in this stick bug? Aren't there more sensational animals out there?
typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden so long.
He shakes his head. What have you discovered about it so far?
Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts.
So no one's ever found one?
Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
The cryptozoologist says brusquely enough that he seems to be taken aback by it.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition.
What makes you think the phasmid is here in Martinez?
There was a credible sighting here recently. A pair of teenagers described a creature that matched the Insulindian phasmid to an uncanny degree, despite not knowing what it was themselves. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore.
Maybe the insulin phasmid has died out?
I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis.
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah. But let's be honest. If the teenagers that they're referring to was Kuno and the other one, then
Oh God.
yeah, that's they're dead. The species has been eliminated.
Even if they actually existed, he would have thrown a rock at one instantly, right? That's
Absolutely.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate.
Tell me about these traps.
Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick.
Lena designed the traps?
Yes,
How do the traps work?
simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out.
I'm sorry, the name phasmid sounds like a Pikmin enemy to me. No reason why I might be mentioning Pikmin. But it sounds like something I would be rattling off for a... Oh my God, it's a phasmid!
At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton.
What are you using as bait?
Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Again, a Pikmin enemy completely. A carnivorous stick insect. Do we want to push him, though?
What would be the negative, or what would be the... I'm trying to think of any, like, deep insights that these people can give us into the case or anything else. I don't see a reason not to push them.
Carnivorous stick insect? Seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism.
What will you do if the traps don't work?
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought.
Let me ask you about something else.
Yes. What?
Lana seems pretty eager for you to return.
And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
He looks south where Lena would be.
Come on, Morale. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon.
Won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the phasmid somehow.
Oh my god.
That just feels wrong.
Yeah. I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena.
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers.
Really? She's sighted the phasmid?
Yes. That's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmid.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now.
Maybe you could go back to the whirling warm-up and come back to check the traps later?
No, no, no. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel?
He's dead set on this.
No, we are not doing 4.
I love how you instantly put a veto in on it. Like,
Okay. Hear me out.
we've got a lot on our plate already, to be fair. That wasn't the worst reaction from you. It's like, no, you're right. We've got 2 dead bodies to solve and all this other stuff. We're pretty sure that he had a mental breakdown, and taking on too much is probably why it happened, along with probably some other stuff we haven't discovered yet. So,
Oh, well, are we just skipping over it? Are we going to number 5, or what are we thinking?
how did you become a cryptozoologist?
I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both.
So you're living your childhood dream out here.
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often.
Oh, I don't like the word real there. Let's not put the man down like that. Have you ever discovered a cryptid?
No. Very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid.
So how many cryptids have been found?
Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemnee, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection.
Only 2 have proven to be real?
Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Grad, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching.
This one's tough, actually.
I'm leaning more
3 seems the most polite, like the other.
I mean, yeah. Well, let's go with 3.
By the way, hello, BK.
Do you know what the success rate in pharmacological research is? 0.00003%.
Our friend just punched his screen.
Have reproducibly beneficial effects. Yet science persists in the search for medicine, as we persist in our search for new species.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion.
Thanks for explaining that. Now about something else.
Yes?
Let's not. I think I want to go. Like, we can talk to him later if we need to waste time, because that's totally a thing. So.
I am curious if we would have checked the traps for him, would he have went for that or instantly shut it down, or would he have let us do it while they return for to see Lena?
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, officer? Yellow man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Say that like it's a bad thing.
I'm tempted on
That's
that
kind of that's the one I was gravitating toward as well.
Nobody's perfect. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revocol.
His gaze shifts to a pile of soggy logs at his feet.
He pronounces Revocol with a hard K, unlike other people. Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is.
Oh my god. We did find that offensive mug.
This is just wrong.
I mean...
Do it on. Go for it. We only live once. Let's do it.
Is this your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
You said yellow, man. That's not something many people go around saying.
Really?
Agreed.
I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone.
I don't know if they would have necessarily been there.
No.
Because he would be okay with staying out and would not...
Plus, he was stuck here while the lynching actually happened. So...
I agreed.
All right, I believe you. You look like the kind of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer.
Okay. I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer. You're not going to find me, are you?
I would really just love to pass this over to Kim. I wish we had the
I wish
options.
we
Like, what do you
could. Yeah,
think?
that would be amazing. Just, Gary, I just want information.
Whew. Thank you. You won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my garbage ever again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law.
Actually, he can help us because whoever did put, like, the stuff in there that we found... How did you get into the trash container?
I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez.
Why would you need to get into everyone's trash?
So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself.
Disgraced? No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Oh, well.
Go for it.
Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling and rags, into that trash container?
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that.
Do.
Oh.
I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know?
Okay, then what happened?
Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly.
He changes his mind mid-sentence.
Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
The lieutenant remarks drolly.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where?
What's that strange sound?
What sound?
That clinking I just heard when you moved.
Really?
He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless.
There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby.
You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you?
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it.
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing. There's something going on here. You should observe him more closely after this topic is concluded.
Let's move on, for now.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
Do we want to roll? Shall we go for it?
I mean, it's low. It's a white check, so we could check it once we got a higher composure rating, but in theory, we could, with more talk,
Maybe
loosen him up a bit more.
Gotcha.
You said
Good
Revocall?
call.
I like to pronounce it the hard way, the old way, the Vespertine way.
He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too, perhaps. It's odd. It's a secret rite, a very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Do you know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling and rags?
I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry for the mug, but I have nothing to do with that.
He shifts uncomfortably in his clothes.
He's not feeling too comfortable in his own skin. Odd, I'd say. Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something else.
Are you a cryptozoologist now?
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids. This could lead to a good one.
I'm into cryptids. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, yes, the burning rhino. Morel doubts he's real, but I don't much care, because I won't be the one looking for him out in Safra Serai.
What's a burning rhino?
A rhinoceros that looks ordinary during the day, but burns brightly by night. Well, at least the males do.
How do they burn?
They have special ducts just above their shoulder blades that secrete a combustible fluid. When the rhino is just beginning to light itself, it looks as though it has wings of fire.
But how is this combustible fluid lit?
Are they describing Pokemon at this point? I mean, it feels like it.
While more hippopotamus-shaped, there is actually a Pokemon that is like that. You're not off. I just can't remember the name of it. How does the lighting of this fluid actually work?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from its neck, setting its back ablaze.
Careful, don't choke on it, Shay.
I'm sorry. The description, just the image of the happening.
I know, me too. Totally me too. I want to be just like that rhino, running through the night with guns blazing.
We don't really do that around here.
Perhaps we should have more such decisive action in Revacol. You know, this city used to be a flaming rhino once. A long time ago.
Why only the males?
The flames are not just for decoration. They are an integral part of the beast's mating behavior.
How so?
During the burning rhino's mating season, herds of male rhinos, all aflame, encircle herds of female rhinos, forming a fiery ring as they begin to copulate loudly. Local peasants call it the passion ring. They fear the rhinos, as perhaps they should. Anyway.
The lieutenant sighs, without looking up from his notes. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels, some even spiritual.
And we'll talk more to this guy, but next time. If you guys want to find all of our other Let's Plays, head on over to tscn.tv/play. And until next time, play on and see you guys.
Later.
This has been a production of the Samcast Network, tscn.tv. What's your passion?